Hi everybody! Hoping you're well. So I'm very excited to welcome my next special guest. Please take a listen to my interview with Jade Davies.
So the first thing that I'm going to ask you, Jade, is your love of performing. Where does it come from?
So it kind of all stemmed from I was really, really young and I would watch so much Disney. Like my parents would be like, wow, this girl is a Disney like geek. She loves it.
Hardcore.
Like I could like recite the songs from like just watching it once and things like that and with dances and things. And I think my parents just kind of said, we should put her in dance classes and musical theatre classes.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much all I've ever wanted to do in life. Like there's nothing else like I've wanted to do apart from I think there was like 2 weeks where I wanted to be a vet or something like that, but that quickly changed back to musical theatre. And yeah, I just absolutely loved going to classes. I did like amateur dramatics and things, and we got to put on shows, and I just got such a buzz from it. And I was just like, yeah, I think this is something that I want to do for the rest of my life. Like I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else. I think I'd be really doing anything else. So, so yeah, I think that's where it all kind of stemmed from. I was really, really young, really.
Yeah, forever, always. You've always wanted to do it.
I have. It's just somewhere in me to just have always wanted to do it. So
it's so funny, isn't it? You meet some people and they're like, literally, I turned 18 and was like, I don't know what I want to do, and then they just kind of fell into it. And other people, it's like, oh no, this has been me.
Yeah, it's been from birth for me.
It's that love of like music, though. I think. What kind of music did you love growing up?
Do you know what? I was all about Spice Girls and things like that. I loved my like Britney Spears and things like that. I was obsessed with Blue. I was like a big fan of Blue. I think I fancied them all.
We all did. We all did.
We all did. But as well, I'd listen to a lot of musical theatre, like Wicked and Les Mis and things like that. I would always constantly be listening to musical theatre, so I was like always kind of inspired by that. It depends. Like sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I fancy a bit of like pop music today, or some days I'll wake up and be like, I fancy a bit of musical theatre today. It changes like quite often. As a kid, I went to my mum and me and my sister. We were taken to see so many concerts, like like Westlife, obviously Spice Girls, and we even went to see like Hearsay and Atomic Kitten and things like that. Honestly, we used to love it. We used to love going to like, I think it was Manchester Arena or something. We'd go like quite often to see people. We loved it.
It's wonderful. There's nothing better than live music, though.
No,
there's nothing better than live music. I love it. So your journey to becoming a performer, then, you started really young. Did you do the drama school route? How did it happen for you?
Yeah, so I got to the end of, I think it was my GCSEs in school, and I think it was about 16. And I decided I didn't want to do like sixth form. I was like, I'm done with school. I want to go and train in London in like the best place possible. And yeah, train in musical theatre. So I ended up doing various auditions for different schools. And the first year I tried, I only got into one school, and it was to do a pre-vocational course. So I did that for a year at Bird College. Obviously it was quite disappointing, like not getting into anywhere else, but I was so like naive and young and I didn't have a clue. And then obviously after my year of training at Bird, I was so much more like aware of everything, and I knew what I wanted and where I wanted to go. I ended up choosing the Erdang Academy for 3 years, which was honestly like the best 3 years of my life. Like just the amount of learning I did, and the teachers were phenomenal, and I met some amazing friends and things. So yeah, I would highly recommend Erdang because it's just amazing. It's such an up and coming college for all round training. I think I did get into Bird in different places, but I felt like it was a bit more dance based and things like that, and I wasn't going to get the more acting through song training that I wanted. But Erdang seemed to have it all, and I just loved it on the day. I've had a really good feeling, and I felt like I was at home. So yeah, that was kind of my journey. I went really young. I still can't believe to this day I did that. I had a lot of people I had a lot of people tell me, I don't think she's going to make it. I was a very quiet child. Like I was an introvert massively. And I had so much determination to prove them wrong, and I did. So yeah, it was
That's
great.
amazing. That is amazing. And I think it's wonderful that you can tell people that you had a really, really good experience about it. I think it's so difficult sometimes, that going when you're really, really young, it's like, oh my goodness, what have I done? How do I? But when you've got a passion for something, I say to my kids all the time, just don't try not to let that fear get in the way of stopping you from doing it.
100%. Honestly, like the homesick feeling I felt was quite crippling, like the first year, and I was like, God, like I was, umming and ahhing, but like you said, like the passion I had for it just overrided it like completely, and I just knew that this was all I ever wanted to do. So nothing, I needed to just have that tunnel vision and just go for it, and I'm just loving it, and I love that. I've lived over like 12 years now, so yeah.
Amazing. And I think that's the thing, when you're younger, you have a little bit more kind of like, not fire, but less fear.
So like 100%. Yeah. 100%. Even with like, auditions and stuff, as I get older, they get worse for me because I have so much going on in my head. I was like, when I was a graduate, I had to lose, really. I was just going for these auditions, being confident and stuff. And now I'm like, oh my God, like I wish I was that graduate again, like with no fears. But yeah, that's so true.
Absolutely. And I think that's, for me, when I set up my company, people are like, you start from 3. I mean, oh my God, at 3, and our main company is from 7. And I'm like, yeah, but you've got to understand that they've got to get this now, because for a lot of kids, I've had kids for like 3, 4, 5 years, doing different things. And I've seen the fear start to creep in that they didn't have when they started, because there's so much more changing and evolving as you get older.
It gives me so much anxiety, but I do it to push myself because I know that I'm going to be nervous and I'm going to be worried about what people think of me and what they think of my singing. But I'm like, right, if I do this, that's pushing myself out of my comfort zone. And I'm like, you've just got to do it, haven't you?
Yeah, you have whatever the fear is. I know it's so hard, and you just, like you said, you can't let it eat you up, because otherwise you just end up not enjoying it, and you've trained all that time, and you're like, no,
we do it because we love it. And sometimes you forget that when you're going through the whole audition process and stuff, but it's something to always have in the back of the mind, like it is what we love and we've worked our whole lives towards. So just keep going.
For sure. So do you have any like wow moments that particularly stick out for you? So things that you might have done that maybe has been like a mantra for you that you've carried on using for different auditions, or has there been a particular show or part that you've had or a concert that you've gone, do you know what, I'll always look back on this as being like a standout moment?
I think it was during my first job. I did Les Mis as my first job, and it was just that moment. I was cover Cosette.
Okay.
And there's a moment on stage where she just has the whole stage to herself, and she's standing there on her own, and you're just looking out to the audience, and you're just like, this is crazy. Like, I'm on a West End stage playing Cosette, and I'm on the stage by myself, and this is just nuts. It's just nuts. Like, it's crazy. And I always remember that feeling and how special that felt. And I do take it away with me everywhere. Like, even in auditions, I'm like, come on, Jade, you want that feeling again. You want to feel like what you felt like that, like back then. So I always take that away with me. It was just that job in particular was just so incredible. I think your first job will always be incredibly special. Will always have a special place in my heart. And I stayed there for 2 years. So for 2 years of my life, it was all about Les Mis, and it was just amazing. And it was a show that I'd always dreamt of doing. I watched the 25th anniversary and all those videos kind of thing, and it was just I remember seeing on Facebook, I'd put as a status that I'd been to see it, and the year later I was offered it. And it's just
Wow.
mad how the universe works. And
Yeah.
I think as well, I like to take away, you know, always stay humble. Like, no matter what jobs you do, just stay humble as a person and be grateful for what you're doing. And I think that comes across in the audition rooms as well, when you're being yourself, and, you know, you seem grateful to even just be in the room, really, whether you get it or not. I always like to take that away with me as well.
I think it's so important to, like you say, remember that we're all people trying to do a job. And I think once that kind of, you lose sight of that a little bit, and sometimes it is hard because you're so excited to be where you are, and it's like, oh my God, this is so cool, but then you're like, actually, you know, there are so many of us in this company, and we're all trying to do this job to the best of our ability. And I think that is just, you know, and then to move on to other jobs, and if you maybe didn't come across so well in that job, you then, it's like, well, we'd rather not work with that person.
I always say, you know, people always talk it within the industry. Creatives always speak to different creatives, and if you come across and, you know, like, be yourself and be a nice person and, you know, work hard, then, you know, you will always be offered other jobs, I think. So yeah,
absolutely. Well, yeah, because you know that you're good enough to be there, because, you know, that they've called you in for a reason. And you know, you'd hate to kind of like give off the wrong impression, or of, you know, for somebody to go, actually, I've heard the worst things, this person is so talented, but my God, what a pain in the arse. Do you know what I mean?
I've heard that so many times, like countless times, you know, people complaining, oh, this 8-show week is just too long, and oh my gosh, like, don't say things like that. I know if you feel that, that's totally fine, but, you know, just kind of sometimes keep things to yourself, I would say. Like, I've tried to keep myself so busy throughout lockdown and this last year, like doing, you know, online concerts, doing things like this, doing singing videos and things, mainly just for myself, but to keep me busy, to keep my day-to-day life busy. Because if I was just to kind of stop and just, you know, not have anything planned, I think I would really struggle. So for me, it's good to have like kind of a to-do list and tick it off. I don't know. I haven't been like that previously, but this last like few months, I've absolutely loved that. Like, writing a to-do list and ticking it all off. It just feels good to accomplish. Like, it's something good I'm doing.
And that's the thing, because sometimes, you know, when you're in your daily life and everything's so busy, and you don't really take the time to acknowledge what you've accomplished, and then it gets to a point where you're like, I made dinner today, that was an accomplishment. I'm not joking. I think I've joked so much with my friends about the fact that I just don't cook, never have done. When I was at drama school, I mean, my friends were wonderful and they used to cook, and if they went around, Jen used to eat a packet of custard creams, or she used to go like,
I'm not a very good cook, and I don't enjoy it, and I put my hands up and say that so many of my friends absolutely love it, and I'm like, that's amazing that you love it, and I wish I was like that, but I'm just not.
No, me neither. I like eating it.
I'm me.
It's like, oh no, but I don't know what's happened this past couple of weeks. Like, I've sent some of my friends messages like, you need to send help, because I'm actually in the kitchen and I'm actually making things that are edible. So like, I don't know what's happened. I'm a little bit concerned that, but I think it's just the time. Like, the past couple of weeks I've had a bit more time than I usually would, and it's like that whole, you know, Jen, you're getting older now, you can't just eat rubbish. you have to be a little bit more healthy, darling.
Oh, I know, everyone loves a treat, but I'm exactly the same. I'm like, you know what, I feel like I can't keep the body I want and like keep trim if I just keep going the way what I think is like, you know, what I used to do as a teenager. I still think I can do that now, but I can't.
No, and it makes you feel like rubbish, I think, as well, because we can't go out and exercise, you know, it's all about the home workouts. So you're not getting out and you're not getting that like fresh air as much as you would just on the go in that sense. So you're stuck in the house, you get that weird like fuzzy head feeling, and you're like, oh my God, and then you eat all this rubbish too. It's just not a good combination.
No, I know, I totally feel that. I've had to try and keep myself, you know, exercising and stuff, and we've created a little like home gym in the kitchen area just to keep us motivated and keep us like, going, and some days we're like, oh, I don't want to do it, and then one of us will be like, go on, you've got this, and we're like, okay, yeah, let's do it. And it's really good, that.
Yeah, that's nice about living with other people. I mean, I'm so thankful that I'm with people at the minute, because I don't know how I would have coped on my own. I mean, hats off to all these people who have
I know, I feel exactly the same. I feel incredibly lucky to have had my partner throughout this whole of lockdown, and I'm a bit worried because we've spent every day together for a year, and I don't know what I'm going to do when we have to spend time apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I exactly the same. Like, I feel, I know a lot of friends who have gone through this on their own.
Yeah.
And what an achievement to have got through it on their
massively.
own. You know what I mean? Like, that is incredible. I don't know if I would have been able. I would probably have to go home to Wales or something, because I do like my own company, but not that much. So
I know, that's the thing. Like, for ages I was like, I just want some downtime, I just want some time on my own. The moment I got it, I was like, I don't like it. Where is everyone?
I've got a big bucket list. I would like, in my personal life, I'd like to go traveling for like a few months. I would love that so much before I kind of feel like I want to settle down. I think I'd love to go traveling just for like 3 or 4 months around the world, just to see it and feel like I've experienced a bit more. I've done a lot of, holiday traveling and stuff, but not like proper like traveling experience. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of my friends have done it, and I'm very jealous. I think another thing that, there's a lot of shows that I want to tick off my list, that I'm absolutely determined to get. One of them being like Wicked and things like that. Is just a show that it was kind of one of the first shows I ever watched in the West End, and I was just like, I have to do that show. I have to. So that's a huge thing. And also, one more thing on my bucket list would be, I would love to sing the Welsh national anthem at before a rugby game, like in Millennium Stadium. Like, I think that would be such like an honour for me to do. I would absolutely love it. There's a lot of things on my bucket list, and they're just a couple of them. But yeah, and I think as well, like, I would love to settle down and have kids as well. And like, obviously I'm going to be 28 this year, and I feel like it's getting closer. Not quite there yet, but it is something that I would love to have in the future. I'd love to be a working industry mum. Do you know what I mean? Like, be in theatre. I have so many friends that do it. My best friend Alex does it, and she's in Matilda. Her husband's going into Frozen, and they have a little boy, and I think that's just incredible. Like, go and see mum and dad doing the West End. Do you know what I mean? I think it's something
it's awesome. Yeah, it is. And it's so, it for you yourself doing it is that pride thing, knowing that you've got kids looking at you, like going, go on, mum, go for it. I mean, I know it's so weird to think. I just turned 26 at the start of the year, and everyone keeps saying to me like, time's ticking, and it's like, it's terrifying. Like, I'm actually terrified at the thought about it. But you just think, when you're like, you can feel yourself getting old. I don't know where the last 2 years have gone. I'm a bit like, I was 20 last year, I promise I was, and everyone's like,
I still feel like I'm 20 in my head, to be honest.
I know.
All these big adult things are like coming up, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm quite ready, but I feel like I am getting closer to wanting it all. Obviously I need to like buy a house and things like that as well. Obviously it's like stupidly expensive in London, but hopefully the things I can achieve over the next like 7 to 10 years. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, sounds wonderful. And also the Welsh national anthem, yes, you need to do it.
Oh my God.
It's the weirdest thing, isn't it? I don't speak Welsh fluently. Obviously, I learned it from 3 right the way up to 18, and I kind of know a bit of it, and there it is. But like, there is something really weird when it comes to like St. David's Day. That weird patriotic thing happens, and I don't know what it is and why it is, because I'm really not. Everyone always says to me, you don't have a Welsh accent, you don't, and I'm just like, but the national anthem, every time I hear it, I cry. I don't know why.
I'm exactly the same. Like, I will forever be so proud of being Welsh. Like, it's my roots, like where I've come from. I started singing in Welsh. Like, I had the best singing teacher like in Wales ever, and she is the reason I am where I am today. And yeah, I'll just always have, you know, that love for it. And I love that I can speak a different language. Like, I love that, you know, that's pretty much my first language, and then English. I always say that because I'm really proud of it. I think it's amazing. I miss it terribly. I miss home terribly, especially in the last year, not being able to get home at all. But yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll, like, you know, midway through this year, I'll be able to go home. And I'll probably go home for like a month or something, just to be with my family and make up for lost time, kind of thing. So
breathe in that Welsh air, girl. You've got to do it.
Fresh air.
I know. I used to joke to people all the time. I used to say to people all the time when I'd come home from drama school, I'd be like, oh my God, and I can breathe again. And they're like, what are you on about? And I'm like, so different. I mean, London is so much busier than where I'm from anyway. But it was just like, as soon as we'd hit Cardiff, and that tended to be where I had to change trains, and I would be on this rickety like train, and it was
barely moving.
Oh no, and it would take you like 9 million hours to get anywhere. But I was like, I love it. Just 'cause and you'd hear all the tannery announcements in Welsh, and you'd be like, oh yes, and everything. I know. You're just
I know. I have like a sudden feel of like when I'm on that train at Euston, like going to North Wales, I have this like sense of like relief and like a weight lifted off my shoulders every time I leave. Obviously, I love the London life. I love the busy, city life, but it is just so nice to be able to, have the best of both worlds and be able to go home to that gorgeous, beautiful like countryside and things. Yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
So true, so true. So if somebody said to you right now, you're going to do a one-woman show, what 5 songs would be the songs that you go, I have to include those?
Ooh, this is a good one. I think I'd obviously have to choose a Disney song, probably like Colours of the Wind, and just love that song. It's quite a common one I normally do. I'd probably pick one of like my audition songs that I did for college, maybe, just as like, like a memory kind of thing, which would be, what did I sing? Wait a Bit from Just So, which is such a beautiful song. Like, it's not one of my favorites. I think I'd have to sing something from Les Mis because it's my favorite job I've ever done. Probably I Dreamed a Dream or On My Own or something. And then I'd probably have to challenge myself and sing something from Frozen because I absolutely love the soundtrack. Like probably like Monster or something. Like, what a song. Like, it's
such
incredible.
a song.
I just can't wait to watch the show. Like, I cannot wait to watch it. I think it's just going to be phenomenal.
When you're singing, then, I mean, this is one for my kids will be like all over this question. You've got obviously your belt, your mix, your head voice. Is there a particular part of your voice that you love to singing?
Yeah, so I would say, like, all the way through college, I was told, oh, you're a belter, like, you're going to be in all the belty shows, blah, blah, blah. And since I've graduated, I've pretty much done all legit shows, and it is where I'm most comfortable. Like, singing soprano has always been, it's kind of where I started, singing soprano in like choirs and things. I would say that is where I'm most comfortable. When I do like singing videos on Instagram, I tend to do more belty, more poppy stuff just to push myself, to try and better myself in that aspect of singing. But yeah, I think it has to be soprano. I love it. I absolutely think it's just where it sits comfortably and my voice is like happy. You know what I mean? One thing I would say about, the soprano side of things, it's really sad because I feel like, these days it's very like popular to sing the more modern stuff, the belty stuff, the riffy stuff. And I feel like classic singing is just becoming like a distant memory, which is really sad. So yeah, I think if I was to do a concert again, I'd try and sing a lot more soprano stuff just to get it out there a bit more. And do you know what I mean? Like, it's sad that it's not, popular anymore, because back in the day it was huge. It was huge if you could do.
It was kind of all anybody did.
Yeah, so true, so true. Work really hard. There's also other aspects of things that you have to work really hard at, which is like, learning how to be in a dressing room with people who you don't know. Like, I always talk about this because it's not spoken about enough. It's, for me as an introvert, I find it very difficult. And like when I meet new people, it takes me a while to kind of, settle in. I'm kind of that person that will stand back and just learn about everyone quietly, and then I'll come out of myself. But yeah, it's something that we have to learn to do, and maybe you won't get on with certain people, or you become best friends with people. It's different on every job experience, but it is something that we have to learn to do. We basically live with them. That is one thing I would like to speak about a bit more. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the confidence thing, I think, as well, more than anything. Somebody sees you up on the stage and automatically assumes that you're a very, very confident person, massively confident. And it's like, that's not the case. And I remember the first time I had to stand on stage and give a thank you speech to the audience of the people that have attended the show that I directed, and I literally threw up beforehand.
Yeah, it's horrible. A lot of people say, don't they, like, if you're being a character, it's so much easier. But if you're going to do, like, for example, a concert, like a solo concert, as you, it's so hard. It's so hard to just be yourself. And I don't know, I'm exactly the same. I find it absolutely nerve-wracking.
It's so difficult because people are taking you for you, and it's like, I really want to come across the best way that I can here, and I want to come across, and my parents have always been very supportive, and my mum's very I'd say very outgoing, and she's we're very different, we're very, very different, and she was just say, like, it doesn't matter what people think, there were going to be people who love you and people who don't, and the moment you say there are people that don't, which I know that happens and that is life, but the moment you say that to me, I'm like, I don't want to do it then. I don't want to do it, because I would hate people to think badly of me. I would hate people to. I very much one of life's people pleasers, which I know doesn't. It's not always the best thing.
I know.
But
it's so difficult. I was exactly the same. My mum would say the same thing, but it is easier said than done, isn't it? When you're, I was such an introvert and always worried about what people thought of me, what they thought of my performance. And I still, to this day, I'm very much like, I'm a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to, like, even doing a singing recording. Like, I have to do it like 8 million times, and I'm like, Jade, like, stop now, like, pick one that you've got, like. And I came into 2021 kind of thinking, right, this is going to be my New Year's resolution. I'm gonna take a back seat of being such a perfectionist, and do a self-tape just 3 times and pick your favorite from that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, not be so hard on myself all the time, because that is something I'm always doing.
And it takes the enjoyment out of it then, and you finish a whole day and you're like, oh my god, what if I don't like any of these, I've just spent the whole day. And I think as well, sometimes it's like when you send that in, it's that fear, you're like, I've just got to do it, just send it off.
Totally.
And then you listen to it back and it's like, oh god, no, I can't cope.
I know.
But then that you've got to think, like, they will have seen something in you, they will have, there will be something in there.
Absolutely.
And always when people say to me, I loved it when you did that, they're always the things that you yourself are like, really? You like that? That's the worst part.
I always make my partner choose my self-tapes. I've got 3, and I go, can you choose for me which one? And usually we kind of always pick the same one. But on the odd occasion he'll pick one and he'll go, that was amazing, and I'm like, no, that's not good, like, that's not good. And
pick again, please.
a difference of opinion, and have someone else come in and kind of maybe see it in a different way that you're seeing it.
Absolutely.
I think that's really important to do that.
For sure. So talk about lockdown then. I mean, it's been so hard trying to get any kind of work done or, anything. What has kept you busy? What have you been doing to pass the time?
So apart from, like, watching lots of telly and chilling out, I've been doing a lot of, like, singing. I've been doing things with Welsh of the West End. It's a little group that my friend Stefan put together. we basically just record in our bedrooms. We send a video and he puts it together online, and it's done really, really, really well. People have absolutely loved it. And yeah, so that's really kept me going. I've done a few online, like, Instagram live concert things, and Q&As and bits and bobs, and and also I was a part of something called Spotlight on the Future, which is something my friend Louis put together. It was basically where new graduates sing with like someone in the industry. You sing a duet, and we got to the point where we did like a big concert when we were allowed, and it was in this huge like outdoor it's basically like an outdoor cinema, but yeah, we got
cool
things. And yeah, I've just had to really keep myself busy. I'm very fortunate in that people like, ask me to do things and, do workshops and bits and bobs. So yeah, I've just done a lot of bits for myself, but I would say the Welsh of the West End thing has really kept me going. Stefan has been amazing. Like he just is constantly like, okay, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And always like keeping, me on my toes and keeping my mind busy learning music and stuff.
That's great.
Just spending time with my partner. Like it's been amazing. Like he's an actor. He's a busy actor as well, and he's been doing a lot of filming. He does TV acting, and yeah, we've had this opportunity to just spend lots of time together, and it's been amazing. And like I said, like I am a bit anxious about normal life and being apart when he has to go and film and stuff. So yeah, just things like that really.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful to hear though, that you've managed to keep busy, because it's been a time where at the beginning I'm sure everybody felt the same. What are we going to do? What are we going to do?
It was all fun and games to start with. I was doing like Zoom quizzes every night with my friends, and we were all like, this is quite like, ooh, like we've got time off, and then it got to the point where we were just like, this is long now, like this is getting long. And I would say especially this third lockdown has been the hardest, because we know we're so close to the end. Like we know we're almost at the finishing line of this whole thing, fingers crossed. So yeah, it's just that last kind of like drag really.
And I think as well, like the weather and stuff has had a massive impact.
I found January this year extremely difficult. Like I think I've always got something to work towards or something to look forward to, and just this year I had nothing, and that's when I decided, right, I'm going to be busy every day, because I can't be moping around like this. Like it has an effect on your mental health as well, and
massively.
I think it was a tough one this January, and it was hard as well, because you're like, oh, does everyone feel like this? Like, is this how everyone's feeling? And from what I could gather, a lot of people were having that January blues kind of feel.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was hard, but we got through it.
Absolutely, and it's the feeling, isn't it, of I felt so awful that I was feeling bad about the fact that I was working, and I thought, I've got so many friends that are not in this position, and Jen, you do not have the right to sit here and start whinging about the fact that you're working. But I think that monotony of and being online all the time and every day was the same, it was literally like Groundhog Day. I think it gets to you, and I think the moment I sat there and really had a chat with myself and thought, this is awful. Like I've got friends who have literally not worked since last March. Like, come on, snap out of it and find something in your day to make it different, so that it is different to tomorrow. And it is,
I would always say change up your day if you feel like, even if it's just like going for a walk on a different route or something, like change it up and do something just to keep it fresh. Do you know what I mean? Because otherwise, like you said, it is like Groundhog Day and just doing the same thing day in, day out. It's been incredibly tough, hasn't it? And like just knowing that, West End and Broadway, like, and tours and everything's just stopped. Like, and it's hard sometimes. It was hard for me to kind of accept at the start that I felt like I was like so alone in that situation. Like I was like, I'm the only person not working, blah blah blah. But it's not that situation. Everyone is in the same boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's taught us though how resilient we are, for sure.
Oh
I mean, oh my
God.
goodness. I
Yeah.
think if there's ever a moment that we feel like, oh, I'm not feeling it, I can't do it, like we have to take ourselves back, however old we will be,
Yeah.
and take ourselves back to these moments and go, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
look at what we achieved. I think as well, achievements now will be hopefully so much more widely recognized, these tiny achievements. Let's not just look at this huge celebration of something that we did. Let's look at how we got there.
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
You know,
1,000,000%. It's an achievement in itself. Like,
yeah,
even if you haven't, got the job you wanted, or, aren't doing what you love, you have got through one of the hardest years we've ever had to get through. And
yeah,
that's, like you said, like an achievement in itself. It's amazing.
massively. And I think as well how wonderful it's going to be when we all actually do get back to what we're doing.
I know.
How appreciative are we going to be? And I don't think for a second that everyone, within the creative arts was like, oh, I just take this for granted or whatever. But there are moments in your life where you will, because it's life. That's what happens. Everybody does it, whatever job they do, because you just get a little bit safe and comfy and complacent, and this is just what happens.
Exactly.
But I think when we get back, it's going to be like, I literally appreciate everything, everyone and everything. And
1,000,000%. I just, like, I'm trying to manifest at the minute that I'm going to get a theatre job, and honestly, I just don't think I'll ever take it for granted again.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever complain about a 2-show day again, ever. Ever.
And it's just like the people as well, isn't it? Like everybody that works on a production, on a anything, you just think, oh my goodness, I'm literally going to take in everybody and just be so grateful and so thankful. And I am going to take that time that I maybe didn't before to speak to you all day, every day, and thank you every single day. Thank you for what you do, and thank you, and show my appreciation, because before I really did feel it, but I just didn't express it, and now I'm gonna say
100%. I think it's changed. It's completely changed everyone. It's changed the world, like how how we see things now, and things like that. So I think obviously it's horrible what's happened, but there are positives to come out that have come out of it, kind of thing. So
absolutely, there really have. And just like relationships and friendships that people have formed, like in a time where you think, well, I haven't been anywhere, I haven't done anything, so how has this happened?
I know, crazy. I'm just looking forward to, like, going out with my friends and going, like, hugging my family. Like, I haven't hugged my grandparents for like a year now, so like that is just gonna be the dream. Can't wait.
It'll be like, sorry, you're not going anywhere now, this is it.
Definitely.
So my very last question for you is kind of hopes and plans for 2021, 2022. What do you kind of want to see happen? What would you like to be doing, achieving, or are you just kind of ready to go along with the ride? Whatever happens, let's roll with it.
Yeah. Do you know what? I've kind of learned that, you can't have a set plan in your head when you're in the theatre industry. Obviously, the dream is to be in a show. No matter what show it is, I just want to be on stage performing. Like, that is, I haven't done it now since December, 2019, which is nuts. So that is the ultimate goal. And just for things to be back to normal, like, being able to go, just the smallest thing of being able to go meet your friends and not be so worried and stressed and anxious about, this whole COVID thing. And I think it mainly to be working, for sure. I desperately want to be in a show.
Yay!
So much so.
And we desperately want to see you in a show.
Oh, well, I'll keep you updated if anything happens.
Yay! Thank you so much, Jade. Honestly, I really appreciate you coming and chatting with me, because I know
Thank you.
How busy life is. It's so funny when people are like, but everybody's doing nothing, and I'm like, wrong. Everybody is desperately trying to fill their days with something. So I know an hour out of a schedule when you've got a schedule is a lot, but I'm really appreciative. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
No worries at all. Well, what I'll do is I'll send you a message when it goes up on the channel anyways, and we can share it about. But take care of yourself, and I'll love to keep in touch.
And you as well. Let's definitely keep in touch.
Amazing. Have a lovely rest of your day. Take care.
Well, bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Jade. It was so wonderful to chat to you, and I'm sending my very best wishes for everything that goes ahead in 2021. I hope it's a wonderful year for you and you get back on the stage very soon. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I'm hoping you're still enjoying everything that's going on the channel, and if you have any requests for people that you'd love to hear chatting about themselves, their career, their life, please send us a message or put a little comment. Thanks, everybody. Take care.